that's kind of what this show is all about, is I want to go through that list of people, find these incredible people that have achieved all these amazing things and say, hey man, how did you go from here to there, right? And part of my job as a coach is also, I'm getting quite involved in life coaching and mentoring and basically just inspiring people. And so with that in mind, I'll shut up and you tell me from your experience where you've come from. Give us a basic from, I know you started out young, your first disappointment in not achieving a black belt or something along those lines. Start us from there and build us the journey to where you are now.
Absolutely, Rob. So from my perspective, as Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so it all comes back to what's going on between your ears. What is your mindset around the things that you want to do? And for me personally, I started training in Taekwondo when I was 6 years old. Now, around that time, just beforehand, I became aware of Bruce Lee because my dad was a big Bruce Lee fan. And so we always had the VHS tapes in the house. So I remember watching Enter the Dragon even at such a young age. And of course, I wanted to be like Bruce Lee. Yeah. That was my goal at the time. And so my parents enrolled me in a local Taekwondo class. And by pure chance, the class that was about a mile away from my house was run by the Great Britain coach.
Okay.
The head instructor, who was my main instructor, fought in the Olympics. And so I was having top-level tuition from day one, purely by chance. And so I already wanted to be like Bruce Lee, and then I was actually working with people who could actually help me to do that.
Yeah.
And so I loved it. I loved training, hated competing at the time, but I loved training. I loved going through the belt system. And as you alluded to before, my first big disappointment was when my black belt grading came around. Now, I remember beforehand that one of my instructors told me that I would walk it. And so I was probably 8.5 years old, give or take. I'd been training 2.5 years. Maybe I got complacent with having that feedback. Okay, this is going to be a breeze. I'll do it easily. And it was a big event, the grading. It was a national grading. So there were students of all ages, different grades, from black belt and above, from all over the country. And so a busload of students from my hometown went down to Stevenage for this grading. And just to paint the picture, the grading panel consisted of 10 Korean masters and grandmasters who had flown in from Korea for the grading. They didn't know any of us from Adam. And so for whatever reason, they were particularly harsh that day. And of the 30 to 40 students that came down on the bus from my hometown, myself included, 3 passed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just from my hometown.
Yeah.
So all the others that from all over the country that didn't pass as well. So it was a particularly harsh grading. And the way that they did it was particularly harsh as well, and that's what made it a little bit more heartbreaking at the time. But of course, with hindsight, I can see that that was necessary to sprout the resilience within me and the motivation to never feel that way again. Because you were sat in, or rather, we were all sat in perfectly straight rows, cross-legged, shoulders back, upright, stoic expression, not saying a thing, not showing any emotion. And the spokesperson for the panel would read your name out if you passed.
Sure.
And they skipped you if you failed. And they were doing it in order. And so the child to my right, his name was read out. So I knew it was going to be me next. And so I was getting the anticipation going.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. They went to the child to my left. So I knew in that moment that I'd failed. And so my heart just sank. And it was a horrible, horrible feeling at such a young age as well, going in with all that expectation. But it really made me determined to not feel that way again. And so I'm grateful to say that I never failed another grading after that. And it really sparked a fire within me to tap into my mindset a little bit more, even at such a young age, to really build that mental strength to do whatever it took to get the desired results.